Ichigo Kurosaki may be the protagonist of the tybw's beloved manga and anime series Bleach, but his father, Isshin Kurosaki, may very well be the true hero of the story. For a long time, Isshin's true significance and backstory were kept secret from the fans, but as the series progressed forward, we were finally given a glimpse into his past. At first glance, Isshin is introduced as Ichigo's wacky and seemingly oblivious father, but this was all a facade. In reality, Isshin was a powerful soul reaper before Ichigo was even born, and he possessed a deep understanding of Zanpakuto and hollows. He secretly rebuilt his own soul reaper's powers bit by bit, and when the time was right, he returned to fighting hollows and even taught Ichigo a thing or two about fighting. But despite all this, he still managed to be an outstanding father to Ichigo, Yuzu, and Karin, and he even ran his own clinic. It wasn't until Thousand Years Blood War arc that readers were fully given a glimpse into Isshin's backstory. Around 20 years ago, when Masaki and Ryuken Ishida were still in high school, Isshin Shiba of the esteemed Shiba clan was the captain of Squad 10. As a powerful captain and a noble man, he had it all: prestige, power, and respect. He and his lieutenant Rangiku Matsumoto enjoyed dumping all of their paperwork on poor Toshiro Hitsugaya. But these carefree times would come to an end when an alert came about a powerful and strange hollow rampaging around in the world of living. Isshin, who wasn't particularly fond of paperwork, was always up for a fight, and he soon confronted the hollow. This event would ultimately change the course of his life forever and shape him into the hero and the father he would eventually become. The hollow that threatened Masaki's life was not a typical one. It was a special hollow known as White, created by Sosuke Aizen. The remaining Quincy on Earth, including Masaki, attempted to fend it off, but it was ultimately the power of a captain like Ishigi that was able to subdue White. Despite Aizen scrapping the hollow as a failure, Isshin was unaware of his involvement. Determined to save Masaki's life, Isshin, with the help of Kisuke Urahara, lent her his Soul Reaper powers and became an ordinary human as a result. He made this sacrifice without hesitation, even surprising Kisuke. He believed that if he could save one teenage girl's life, he could be a true captain. After becoming Isshin Kurosaki, Masaki first became his friend and then his wife. Not much is known about their dating life, but Isshin has mentioned that his wife would call him cool when he smoked, which is why cigarettes hold a special place in his heart. As two ordinary mortals, they had a son, Ichigo, and later twins Yuzu and Karin. Tragedy struck when Grand Fisher lured Masaki away and killed her in front of young Ichigo's eyes. After that, Isshin became a single father, taking on the responsibility and the grace. He doted on his daughters and was a bit tougher on Ichigo, but he loved him deeply. His goofy antics as a captain were mirrored in his role as a father, though his pain from his fall from captaincy and his wife's death was always present. Despite this, he made sure to visit her grave regularly even if he still acted goofy. It was a surprise when Isshin donned the robes of a Soul Reaper once again when Grand Fisher, now an Arrancar, began rampaging again. He confronted the beast, lectured it on the nature of Zanpakuto, and defeated him. Afterwards, he and Kisuke agreed that Arrancars were a grave threat. He also visited Ryuken Ishida and they discussed how their sons were ready to make their own decisions. All of Isshin's actions, from past to the present, have consistently demonstrated his unwavering dedication to selflessness and uplifting those around him. Despite his status as a powerful captain, Isshin never sought to take down Aizen alone, instead choosing to focus on supporting his son Ichigo and helping him unlock the full potential of Zangetsu. Together, father and son were able to defeat the traitorous captain with the aid of Kisuke. Isshin was content with the return of his seemingly ordinary life at Kurosaki Clinic, having put his duties as a Soul Reaper behind him. Throughout his time as a captain, Isshin always placed duties above his personal glory. He consistently praised his fellow captain Toshiro for his hard work and dedication, rather than focusing on his own strength. This selfless attitude was further exemplified by his decision to give up his powers to save his wife Masaki without a second thought. As a single parent, he took on the responsibility of raising his children with love and protection and was there for Ichigo when he needed help against Aizen. In essence, Isshin Kurosaki is the epitome of humble and selfless hero who has made countless sacrifices for the greater good and for the well-being for those around him. His actions have allowed Ichigo to become a powerful Soul Reaper he is today and ultimately triumph over Sosuke Aizen for all eternity. What are your thoughts about Isshin Kurosaki? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this short video, then definitely make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post daily anime content about anime on this YouTube channel. And also don't forget to check out these other 2 videos about Bleach over here. And that's it, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.